Okay, guys, this is a preparation for the catechism examination that will take place at the end of your 3 years of catechism instruction, which is right before your confirmation. This is especially useful for the third year, 8th grade students, but every one of you should be preparing for the final examination. And that will take place right here over my shoulder. I'm standing here in the pulpit at church. When we do examination, you'll stand at the lectern, and we'll have a little conversation back and forth. So it'll go kind of like this. The basis for our questions will be the 20 questions, Christian questions with their answers, which are found in the small catechism here. Section 4, Christian questions with their answers. Sorry about the shadow on there. The first 4 questions relate to our first unit on the Ten Commandments. The main question is, who am I? What does God say about me? And how does He define me? The first question is, do you believe that you are a sinner? And you all need to be able to answer this. Not just give the answer that's written down, but to truthfully answer, yes, I believe it. I am a sinner. And second, how do you know this? Well, it's not something we know naturally, but to answer from the 10 Commandments, these I have not kept. Third question is, are you also sorry for your sins? Answer, yes, I'm sorry that I have sinned against God. And then finally, the fourth question for our first unit is, what have you deserved of God by your sins? His wrath and displeasure, His temporal death, and eternal damnation. Romans 6, verses 21 and 23. Now, I'll ask you these questions here from the pulpit. You'll be standing right back over there. And you'll answer, yes, I believe that I'm a sinner. Yes, I'm sorry for my sins. The 10 Commandments are what tell me I'm a sinner. And then also, what have you deserved because of your sins? God's wrath, His displeasure, and eternal death and damnation. In addition to these 4 questions, I'll ask you a bit about the 10 Commandments. Okay, so what do the 10 Commandments tell you about yourself and your sin? So, for instance, I might ask you, what is the 7th commandment? A simple question. And you should be able to identify what the 7th commandment is as opposed to the 5th or the 10th commandment. And the 7th commandment, right here in the Catechism, do not steal. So, simply answered, do not steal. You shall not steal. And then I might ask you what that means. And if you have it memorized, that's very helpful for you to say that we should fear and love God so that we do not take our neighbor's money or possessions or get them in any dishonest way, but to help him preserve and improve his possessions and income. So you don't have to say it word for word necessarily, but get the general idea of the 2 things, what the commandment forbids and also what it expects us to do. So the sins it forbids and the good works it teaches us to do. And then I might ask you a little bit further about offering a deeper thought about the commandment. For instance, with the 7th commandment, well, tell me about a time when someone could steal something without taking an actual thing, without taking money. And you might answer, well, it's also stealing, for instance, to steal someone's answers on a test, to steal intellectual things as well as physical things. And that's how this conversation will work. We'll go through the commandments, not necessarily every one of them. I'll probably ask at least one based on the first table about the first, second, or third commandment, and then one dealing with the second table. And each person who is being examined will have an opportunity to engage the 10 Commandments. I won't tell you which ones beforehand. You'll have to know them all. But I'll help you through. I'll walk you through as well. So, for examination, you'll be over there. I'll be right here. We'll talk about the Christian questions and their answers, all 20 of them. And then I'll ask you a bit about the individual parts of the catechism that we study in catechism class, walking through those basic teachings of the Christian church. So that's your introduction to examination, to the Christian questions and their answers. And we're starting it early here this year, Unit 1, after we finish the Ten Commandments. So more to come after Units 2, 3, and 4. So long.